In 2026, people have said this is going to be the year of high strangeness, the year of disclosure, the year where the truth about the aliens come out, the cryptids come out, all this stuff comes out. Well, what if I told you that me and this guy right here, we've been on this alien thing a lot longer than everybody else, right? And so tonight, we're going to be digging into one of the oldest reported mass UFO alien sighting that you can find, right? But there's only one caveat on that, right? We got to go deep Appalachia. You understand? We got to go deep. We got to go down south. We got to go down 81, son, down 95, right? There's one thing that we don't do, right? We don't ever go into deep south, deep Appalachia without what? Steve?
Well, a lot of things, but what's...
Exactly. We got to stay kitted up, right? Here's the kitted up. Number one.
I would say you want guns. Well, you got a list. I
got a list. Number one.
This is your hometown, so...
That's it, son. I grew up in Johnson City, son, not for the weak. You understand? But tonight we're going to go to what I think is the weakest part of the Appalachians, but still, you don't sleep on rednecks, you understand? You don't sleep on them. So tonight, we're going to get into it. We're kitted up. We had dinner at Waffle House. That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. We got our mullets on. Business in the front. Party in the back, right? Steve, are you wearing your tactical eye patch tonight?
That's right.
All right. I got my gold chain out of Hawk from the pawn shop, and I'm wearing my Sasquatch Steve Taylor shirt. So tonight we're getting into this. We are not streaming on Rumble Live because I forgot to set up Rumble Live.
Wow.
So tomorrow, Rumble boys, you guys will have to get the upload when I upload it to Speaker and Spotify and all those other places, right? If you want it professional, you came to the wrong spot, right? Mm-hmm. If you want it funny and hilarious, historically accurate, you came to the right spot. So do us a favor, everybody, put your kids away. Men, pull your ladies close. It's going to be a scary episode. And women, if you don't have a man, just jump in the chat. I'm sure there's the man, an enigmite out there who might make you his woman. Also, if you ever do meet somebody watching EnigmaCast and you guys get married and we don't get invited to the wedding, I'm going to take that personal, Steve. Mm-hmm. Are you ready?
Well, that's the perfect opportunity for us to crash the wedding. Dressed like this.
Just like this. Just like right. Duke and Skeeter right here. Mm-hmm. Duke and Skeeter. That's it, right? So, Steve. Welcome back. The chat says, Robert, Steve, for the people who want to know, right? This guy's been ducking me for about 5 months here. He's been ducking me. I don't want to say this too loud. There could be a woman involved. He's showing all the signs, boys. He's showing all the signs, boys, of going dark. Mm-hmm. It could be a woman. I don't want to say it's a Latina. I don't want to say it. Right? But Steve has been known to mess with the exotics. Are you ready, son?
That's right.
Welcome back, son. Don't ever duck me again. You understand? Don't ever duck me again.
I know. It's been a while. I can't even think of the last time I was on what the topic was last time. It was obviously some sort of terrifying death story.
It was.
That's all you ever bring me on for.
It is. It's exactly right. Steve has a nasty reputation of only coming on the show when people die with these cryptid encounters. However, tonight, I can assure you that I could not find one death, right?
So, me neither. That's finally. It's been about like 6 or 7 episodes in a row where it was like someone getting ripped apart by Bigfoots or eaten by dogmen. Not tonight.
It's not tonight. So we're going to lower the rating down from rated R to PG-13. Chat, are you ready?
That's right.
Steve, are you ready? All right,
yes,
son.
Yes, sir.
Walk us in, Steve. What are we going to talk about tonight here, buddy?
Tonight we are talking about what is known as the Kelly-Hopkinsville alien encounter. As you said earlier, it's one of the most well-known, most well-documented alien encounters in history. It's like, it's Alien 101 when it comes to that kind of stuff. Happened in 1955, August 21st, 1955, down in Little Town. Actually, I don't know the name of the town. It said it was done outside the town of Kelly and the city of Hopkinsville.
Yeah, this place is so rural, it doesn't have a town. So I looked at the same thing, so I can tell you where it's at. This place is exactly 8 miles north of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, before you get to Kelly, Kentucky, somewhere in rural Christian County. So that's
all I had.
That's all I can find, right? So
this is real backwoods
Appalachian right here. This is deep into the woods. So all right. So Steve,
yes, sir.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we gave you the when, the where, Steve. Let's get into the who, Steve.
That's right. So the who involved is actually, and again, this is what kind of we'll get into later, why it's so well received, this story, is this was a group of 11 people
Yeah.
in this house. There were 11 people in this house. And it was the house of a woman named Glennie Langford. She was a woman in her 50s. It was her house. And that evening, she was hosting the family, all her kids, spouses, family, friends, and a couple children. I guess Glennie's grandchildren were all in the house for dinner. And this is when it's all unfolded. So that's the main group right there, is these 11 people.
Couple questions, man. Couple questions. Have you ever been at anybody's house on a random Tuesday for an 11-person dinner before?
No, I've
Me neither.
not.
I haven't either. So look, so because of that, and I do things weird, I had to dig into this a little bit more. I actually got names, so check it out. Here's the people that were attending this, just a family dinner, right?
Yep.
You got Glennie Langford, 50, Elmer Lucky Sutton, 25, J.C. Sutton, 21, Billy Ray Taylor, 21, Vera Sutton, 29, Lonnie Langford, 12, Aileen Sutton, 27, Charlton Langford, 10, O.P. Baker, 30, and Mary Langford, 7, and June Taylor, 18. We're talking about a whole tribe there, right? Like cousins, family, friends.
So I and the same thing while you're listing them. So you said the most common name there was Langford and Sutton.
Yep.
So Langford, so Sutton was so Glennie Langford was the matriarch here, right?
Yep.
Sutton was her first husband's name. So the Suttons are her kids from the first marriage.
Right.
Langford are kids from the second marriage. And then Taylor's was a neighbor or family friend.
Correct.
So that's who that all was.
You dialed it in right there.
Yep.
So Glennie Langford had a gaggle of kids back in the 50s, man, and they were just on this farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they were getting into it. Henceforth, we're rocking the mullets. Y'all don't know this. These mullets are strategic, right? They keep your neck from getting the sunburn in the back, right?
Yep.
Right.
And keep it from getting grabbed by a cryptid.
Mountain lions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mountain lions give you a little bit of protection down there. Might just save your life right now. So if you can't tell, Steve is rocking the Motley Crue drummer, 1985, 1987. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm
about
liking
that. Thank you.
I'm going with a mix between Tiger King and Fool Joe Dirt. I'm rocking the homemade peroxide dye right there, with just keeping my roots a little bit brownish, blackish in there, right?
You look great.
You look great too. You know what?
Thank you.
Lock up your daughter, Steve. We're going roller skating after this. You don't know this, but 2 eligible bachelors are about to hit the town tonight, like this, Steve, and just a little bit of local roller skating rink down there, man. Or we're going to go start a tag team wrestling. We were talking about before. We're going to start a tag team wrestling duo in the South. Go county to county down there in Georgia and bring home the Intercontinental Wachatuca County tag team champions. All right.
Love that.
So before we do that, Steve.
Yes.
Let's dig into this, man. Let's talk about what happened. Steve, what did happen on that night, August 21st, 1955?
Before I get into that, I just want to mention, for those of you who have not watched an episode that Joe and I do together, the way we do it is Joe gives me a topic a week, 2 weeks ago, and we both do our own independent research.
Correct.
We both look up things on our own, and we don't talk about it until right now when we're doing the show. Now. So I don't know what he's read. He doesn't know what I've read. We'll bring things together and just see how it goes.
I just know blondes have more fun. That's what I've been told. That's what I've been told here. So yeah, blondes do it better. Right?
That's right. All right. So, all right. So what do you want me to do? You want to just get into the story? You want to get into it?
Let's get in the story, man. We'll walk it through, and then before you move on to certain topics, man, if I got anything there, man, I'll add some commentary to it, right? Because the story is it's pretty wild.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, I got 2 pages of notes here, so I'm just start reading through what I got here
let's get into
the story. So
I keep checking the chat too.
Yep. As I mentioned, this happened on August 21st, 1955. It's a hot summer's night. As we said, this huge family gathering for dinner. As the family was preparing for dinner, 21-year-old Billy Ray Taylor, who was a family friend, he wasn't a member of the family, he went out to fetch water from the well. because, as we said, this is really this
No
is a
air
real
conditioning,
backwoods Appalachia. No air conditioning, no television,
no running
no
water.
electricity, nothing.
We're talking
So
outhouse
yeah,
time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I saw pictures. We'll get to it later, but I saw pictures
Yeah.
of the house. It is a dilapidated little shack.
Yeah, man. So yeah,
It's,
they were packed in there, bro. They were in there
yeah,
deep, right?
two bedrooms,
Yeah.
for
Two
11
bedrooms.
people. It's crazy. But anyway,
That's how we
so
roll.
yeah, Billy Ray Taylor, he went out to fetch water from the well, and while he was outside, when he was just later describing his tale, he said that he saw what appeared to be a meteor or some sort of flying saucer coming across the sky with a tail that was, he said, every color of the rainbow. It was
Yeah.
just this colorful trail going through the night, and he said that it stopped and it began to descend down into the valley behind the woods from right in front of him.
hmm
And off in the distance, and he went inside, told everyone about it, and they all just dismissed it. They laughed at him. They said, you know, you're seeing things, you're imagining things, whatever.
Yeah, because Billy Ray Taylor actually had a reputation amongst the group as being a storyteller, as kind of a jokester and a huckster, right? So they
Yep.
originally did not take what he said seriously, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that. So, but about an hour later, they had a dog. They had a family dog. They had a dog outside, and the dog started going crazy, started barking like crazy, ran off. And so Billy Ray and then Ernie Langford, who is the eldest son of Glennie, they went outside to investigate to see what the dog was barking about. And they claimed that off in the distance, in the direction that Billy Ray saw the flying saucer, they saw something glowing emerging from the woods and slowly coming towards them. And as it got closer and closer, they saw that it was what they said is a glowing humanoid figure.
Correct.
They said, and again, there was a couple different accounts, but the average, they said it was no more than 4 feet tall. They said it had a bald, round head, no neck, and large glowing eyes with big ears and long arms that almost reached the ground.
Yeah. So check this out, man. So when I looked at that too, right? So yeah, Billy Ray went outside and Elmer went out there with him. Code name's Lucky Sutton, right? That was his nickname, right?
Yep.
When pressed by the investigative unit on it, Glennie Langford estimated that it was 45 minutes after she was given a time, right? And again, when we do these type of investigations, we've often talked about, if you've ever been around anybody that's been through anything traumatic, they remember the most odd, random details, right? Like, and so when she was giving her account, and we'll get to the stuff as well, she was giving them random details that other people had missed. And she said that it was about 45 minutes after Billy Ray came back in the house that they went outside and this event happened, and Lucky was with him. And it was funny because what Steve just talked about describing this guy was they all described it almost exactly the same, all 11 of them, right? And so I'm going to give you what Glennie described it as, right? She said it was between 3 to 4 feet tall, large glowing yellow eyes, bald head, no neck, large floppy ears, oversized ears, right? Long, thin arms, but they were muscular, she said, and they almost touched the ground. And she said that it had claw-like hands, and they were wearing what appeared to be some type of silver, metallic-looking suit, right? And she said that in her account, she was actually working with a sketch artist. And she said in the account that the legs looked like they had no function on the creature. Did you catch that detail?
It was that they said that the legs, it's almost as if they didn't have knees. You know, they weren't bending the legs. They were either hobbling or almost floating at times.
She said, she was like, they appeared they served no functions, right? And when the guy completed the actual description of it, she had a panic attack. When he showed her the picture, it jolted her back in her memories, right? It was so well written. And you can actually go online and Google it, you know, type in the Kentucky Goblin. That's what they ended up naming it, right?
Yeah.
So you can go in there and type that in there and Google it, and you can get a pretty good picture of what it looks like.
There were actually 3 drawings that the sketch artist right there on the site did. And one of them had like they were all very similar. One had more of a pointed face, but overall they looked very similar. And yeah, that's what they said was that that Glennie had said that, and a couple others had said that the sketch artist nailed it. Like it was dead on to what they saw.
All right. So yeah, so we're in sync on that, brother. So what happens next here?
So where was I? Okay, so yeah, so this creature started coming towards them, and they got this good look at it, and it eventually got so close that like almost within like a few feet's reach, and it put its hands up in the air. And obviously the men are terrified at this point. So being the backwoods, they both had guns. One had a shotgun, one had a 22 rifle, and they started shooting at it, which is the American way. But apparently they said that it got hit, but what they were surprised what happened was it kind of rolled backwards, got up, and then just scurried back off into the woods.
Yeah, so that's one of the more interesting details, man, about this encounter that threw me off, right? Is that the creature approached and it stopped and it put its hands up is like almost like a gesture of like hello, right?
Yeah, like as if it was trying to communicate or
exactly. As if it was trying to talk, right? It was trying to like some type of communication, right? And of course, what's his name there? Lucky and Billy Ray weren't having it, son. Out came the shotguns, out came the 22s, and they opened up on this guy, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I mean, like, there's a part of me that's like, come on, y'all, like, dang. But there's also a part of me like, this is why you don't walk up to backwoods places in the Appalachian Mountains at night, man, where we talk about dogmans, cryptids, rakes, and all kinds of other weird stuff, right? You showing up glowing. Part of me says these, and again, funny note, that thing looks like that looks like Stitch from that Lilo and Stitch movie. Did you see that, right?
Now that you say that, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it does.
So, and again, how my mind works is, guys, if you go and you look up these creatures, man, the Kentucky Goblin that was in this 1955 episode, right? It looks like that creature Stitch from that Lilo and Stitch movie. I swear it does, right? And then it's got to me thinking like, oh, that's how, Hollywood's always, because doesn't he run on his arm? He runs on his arms?
I don't know, to be honest with you. But I mean, I hadn't made that connection, but yeah, I would not be surprised if they got their inspiration for that character from these drawings.
So again, and then if any, I know right now is 2026 supposedly is the year of disclosure, and we're going to finally meet aliens, and Trump has this speech he's going to give, right? So just note to the aliens who are out there listening to me, right? Or you cryptids or whatever. You need to stop showing up at night, all right? Like, because it's not, and don't do it in the South. You need to show up somewhere like, I don't know, like a food court or something like that.
Yeah,
in the mall.
Meet me in the mall right here in Jersey. We'll be good to go.
Yeah. The Appalachians will kill you. That's what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like you're getting a shotgun, right? They don't. So yeah. So, but to be fair, they probably if ever who was walking through their yard at that night with these boys probably would have got the working end of a boomstick. He got a working end of a boomstick out there, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So okay. So that's where we're at. Yeah. So
yeah. All right. So all right.
They open up on Stitch and he does a backflip. All right. Yeah. So yeah.
One quick thing I want to note too, because we were talking a second ago about how it put its arms up as if possibly trying to communicate. Another thing that was noted, all the people noted, was that they never vocalized these creatures. They never made vocalizations or any noise, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, it was all silent, right? Yeah,
it was nothing. Silent, and if any, that arm was the only communication that they tried to make. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, it adds to the mystery for sure, right?
Yeah, yeah. So where were we? Okay, so we were here. So
the boys opened up.
Yeah, they opened up, and after it scurried off, they got back in the house. And while this happened, one of the women, I don't know who, but one of the women in the house saw it too. So, like, they knew once they went back inside, like, everyone else inside started believing. They started saying, okay, there's something strange going on here.
Yeah.
And so panic starts to settle in. They don't really know what's going on. They don't know who's out there. They hide the children under the bed. One of the probably two beds in that tiny little shack. Yeah. So they hide the kids away. Yeah, because the bad guys never look under the bed. No, of course not.
It's never look under the bed, man. That's a good spot. It's a good hiding spot, boys.
Yep. That's too funny. So after this happens, a few moments later, they see in one of the windows in the house, they see a face. One of these creatures is right up against the window looking in the house. And so what do? They start firing. They start unloading and it scurries off. And this keeps going on and on and on throughout. For a couple hours, this goes on. They see an alien, they shoot at it, it runs off. They hear them running around on the roof. They hear them running around outside the porch. This goes on for a while. And so at one point, let me see here. At one point, after it kind of died down a little bit, Billy Ray, he went outside to investigate again.
Right.
Do you know about this?
Yes. I thought this was funny part. This is another funny part.
Especially there was a funny diagram. I don't know if you saw it that depicted it. It was really funny. So Billy Ray goes outside to investigate. As soon as he goes out the front door, one of these creatures that was on the roof right above the door grabs him by the hair.
Yeah.
And he tugs free and Lucky comes out and fires at him too, and he runs off.
Yeah. So basically, just keeping the pace here on it. It shows up in the backyard with its hands up. They shoot at it. They go in the house. It sticks its face up in the window. They shoot at it.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Ray goes outside to see what's going on. One snatches him by the hair from the roof. Lucky comes out. Lucky's a problem, man. Lucky comes out with a shotgun.
He shoots at everything.
Lucky comes out and shoots at it, right? And every time, Lucky's pegging it with this shotgun every time, and he says that every time he says that he pegged it, man, it sounds like he was shooting a tin bucket or something like that, right? And it was like flipping back or rolling back or something like that, right?
Well,
so
that's something interesting too. Is like you said, they describe these things as looking metallic, and looking metallic, and then when they would get hit, a little pinging sound as if they were hitting something metallic. So that's strange. Like, were they wearing suits? Were they made of metal or some sort of, element? Who knows?
Who knows, man? I mean, it's good questions though, man. Yeah. Like whatever it was, it was skin tight and very flexible because they had high agility, man. They were running around this house, climbing up on roofs, climbing up in the trees, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So so this goes on for a couple hours, right? And one thing they noted was they never had an idea about exactly how many of them there were. They said they never saw more than 2 at a time. But the fact that they kept appearing here and there and there and there, they feel that there was a bunch. It was estimated that there was probably about a dozen of them.
Yeah.
But they weren't entirely sure.
Yeah. So that's the knock I came with too, is they're saying that they never saw more than 2 at a time, but based upon the different locations they were seeing them at and how quickly they were seeing them there, they estimated it was anywhere from 7 to 12. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a fight, man. And this isn't the first time we've seen good old boys take shots off the porch, man. We've them guys out in a lot of different. We're dropping Bigfoot in LaFleur County down there in Oklahoma, right? So yeah, from their porch.
Yeah, but there was a couple home invasions that we've.
Yeah, exactly, man.
It's been Bigfoots, dogmen, and now aliens.
So the dogman one we did down in Mississippi, man, that was the same one as well.
That was like a 5-day event on that one. Remember that? That was like a whole week that they were fighting those things off.
Yeah, they brought in. That was like they brought in hunters from the town. They were setting up bear traps and that was crazy.
They plated the roof in metal so they couldn't.
Yeah,
it was
so they could slide off. Yeah, we're going to war. Woo! All right, so quick question, man, on this, dude. Yeah. Like, high insight right now, man. We're armchairing this, man. Looking back, right, because you live up there to the Hudson River, man, and that's where UFOs come in and out all the time. You said you saw something or an article about something coming out of the Hudson River one time, right? A UFO?
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that gets seen up here.
Yeah,
especially like you said, right out of the Hudson.
And so, all they talk about now is UFOs and aliens and all that. And I will say this though, right now, there's a strange thing taking place on the entire planet, right? There is a dogman outbreak sightings in northern England towards Scotland, right? There's a gnome outbreak going on right now in Utah. Still, like
I love that.
Yeah, right. So there's like you like pug wedgies, right? So your boys are down there, man. Your boys are down there.
They're on vacation.
Yeah, the Windays are down there in Utah, man. That's causing all kinds of trouble, right? And then I was talking to the Cryptid Women's Society the other day, and they were telling me that what can only be described as some type of massive Ghostbuster level paranormal activities taking place in all the southern Pacific islands down there, from the Philippines down to Guam, down to New Zealand, down to Australia, all of them, right?
Yeah.
And so we know right now that some weird stuff is happening, right? But I got to imagine in 1955, right? There's no TV. It didn't say if they had a radio, right? This house didn't even have air conditioning.
Yeah, there was no electricity in the house. At least, yeah, there was no TV, no running water, nothing.
1955, right?
Yeah.
In rural Kentucky, and this was a farm. This was a rural farm, right? That they were in. This was
real
right?
backwoods.
Yeah, and this is like deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, man, like I don't know if I think I gotta say I'd be a little spooked, bro. Like if out of the, and I think too the 1955, I think that was the peak of them dime store alien novels, right? Where it's like the aliens are coming to eat your brain. There's some stuff like that, like the old stuff that they would do back there, right?
Yeah.
So
and old movies and stuff like that. That was big in Hollywood at that point. Was the alien invasion movies? I
can't imagine if, but Lucky and Billy Ray seems to me like they don't duck fades, man. They were looking for an opportunity to break these weapons. They were stocking up ammunition for just this occasion, right? So I don't know what to call on that, right? Because the story because one of the details that stuck out to me, man, is that how many they went through boxes of ammunition, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you and I talked about when we were looking into the Hanobia case, where these boys said they shot it out with Bigfoots all night. And we're like, well, all night? Like, what did y'all have? Like a Bass Pro Shop in the back door? Like,
how much ammo do you go through?
Like, how many ammo? And these guys saying they were shooting 30-06s, right? They were shooting big things. 20. You can get a box of 22 shells fairly cheap and have a lot of them, right? Mm-hmm. Shotgun shells are pretty cheap as well, right? So anyways. All right, so we'll continue. Press on, sir. Press on, Skeeter.
Yes, all right. So as this went on, like you said, they'd show up at the window, they'd hear them on the roof. This went on for a couple hours. After a few hours, Glennie suggested that since the creatures, though they wouldn't stop coming, they never appeared hostile. They never appeared like they were trying to attack or anything like that. So she had the idea, let's get out of here. Let's get in our cars and let's head down into town to the police station and report what's going on. She wasn't afraid that they were going to get attacked trying to get to their cars because they hadn't seemed hostile yet. So they said, all right, let's get out of here and let's go report this.
Yeah, so that's a good point. As a matter of fact, Glennie Langford noticed that during the hours that they were having this confrontation, they never tried to get into the house, but also one more time, one of them showed up with his hands up in the air, like, and stood off to the side. And of course, Lucky went out there and put birdshot up right in his chest, right? And so and she was like, and she said in her report, she was saying that the figures were peering through her windows, climbing on her roof, and she said others said they were screaming when they were scratching on the walls, but Glennie said that they weren't scratching. That must have been them climbing onto the roof. That there was a noise that they were making, and she said also that the second one came towards the door with his hands up in the air again in the middle of the 2-hour standoff. But of course, Lucky being lucky went out there with a Marlboro and pumped him up, man, with some birdshot, right? So like you said, Glennie's like, hey man, they're not trying to hurt us. Let's make a break for it, right? And again, here's again, right? 11 people in a house, bro. Mm-hmm. And here's the plan. We're going to jump in the station wagon, right? That's how I can only imagine the fumbling and the bumbling that was going on with these 11 people, man, streaming out of this house, right?
Oh my God.
And piling into one of these 1950s built like a tank, 2-door. You used to be able to hang surfboards out of the back of those things. They were so big. Yep. No seat belts. Just get in there, kids, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And that's what they did. So that's what you got, right? They made a run for it, jumped in the car. And they broke out, right? And then,
and they went down to the police station. And I don't really have anything about what happened at the police station, other than I guess they all gave their reports. I got that. So if you want to jump in that, go for it.
Because if you might not notice, one of the things I do when I look at these investigations, if you want me to get to believe in it, right, it doesn't make it 100% true, but what it does make it is that the person or the people that are talking about it have no fear of being ridiculed, because there's oftentimes a police report. And one of the things, you can go look at our archive, go to EnigmaCast. We're on this is our 23rd episode. We're about to break 700,000 views on our YouTube channel, Steve. And you know what? I take full credit for that. Oh, that's all me. That's all me. No, we're about to break 700,000 views, right? But a lot of the stories we cover, majority of them have what I'm about to talk here. There was a legitimate police report filed on this. And this is exactly what happened on the events of the town. What they did is they broke out and they drove to Hopkins, which was 8 miles south of their current location, right? Hopkinsville. I apologize. Hopkinsville, right?
Yep.
Didn't say who was driving. Hopefully it wasn't Lucky or Billy Ray, because they were probably shooting out the windows the whole time. My guess is Glennie might have been doing the driving, right?
Yep.
They whip into the Hopkinsville Police Department, and they all pile out 11 deep. And it is it's 1:45 a.m. when they showed up in the law office of this, right? And the first person they meet is a deputy sheriff. He is so fired up. They're so animated. He calls Sheriff Russell Greenwell and also Police Chief Cecil Doc Meacham of Hopkinsville. And within 20 minutes, about 2 o'clock in the morning, Sheriff Russell Greenwell shows up at the police station. Police Chief Cecil Doc Meacham shows up as well. And the reason why they call him Doc is because he was also part of the voluntary fire department in there. And he was basically an EMT. And he noticed that several of them were in a state of shock, to the point where he pulled them to the side and started giving them some type of medical treatment. The children were terrified, elevated pulses. Some of them were up to, it didn't say who, but some of them were up to a heartbeat of 122 beats per minute, right? And he was so concerned about that he basically set them down and was calming them down. So they proceeded to tell their story about what was going on. Sheriff Russell Greenwell believed them so much, he made 3 phone calls. And then this was done within 7 minutes. And then within 7 minutes, they left 9 of the people there. And they took Glennie, Billy Ray, and Lucky went back to the farm with them, right? But this is who he called. Sheriff Russell Greenwell called the Kentucky State Troopers. He also called up and activated his reserve 3 deputy sheriffs, right? And it was basically a chain. He calls one, they call one, they call one, they call one, right? He didn't make 3 different calls. And this is very strange to me, and bookmark this because this is going to come back into play. He called Fort Campbell, which was about 70 miles away from there, right? And they bailed out. Fort Campbell immediately dispatched, and they were about an hour away, 4 military police officers to this location.
Yeah, that's what I had, that they had, that when they went back to the house, that there were 16 police officers, including the 4 military police. Yep.
So they went back to the house, 16 deep. They went back to the house, right, to go in there and talk about what was going on there.
They also had, that they also brought a local journalist and photographer to go with them as well.
Yeah, so you're right. So I got this guy's name as a reporter, Billy Ray Beckett. No relation to Billy Ray. Billy Ray Taylor, right? But Billy Ray is a popular name up there, man. I wonder if they had the same daddy. So yeah, Billy Ray Beckett from the Kentucky New Era came up there as well, right? And this is where it gets pretty interesting, right? While the deputy sheriffs few deputy sheriffs stayed behind. Also, during the reason why, like you're saying, Joseph, that number doesn't add up. Yeah, well, some local volunteers that were just hanging out in the area just went with them.
I had that too, and I'm thinking some people are just hanging out outside the police station at 2 a.m. and just like, yeah, we'll come with you.
Yeah, why not, man? Yeah, let's go. I can only imagine, man, like they were racking 30-06s, cracking beers, shotguns, yeah, let's go, let's get them, little green man. Oh my God, they're after Glennie. You know what they did to Glennie? At the old Langford spot. Let's go, right? So they're Scooby-Dooby diving down there, right, to head to this farm, right? And you know what? This is a random Tuesday, y'all. So look, look again, aliens. Kentucky's not your spot, man.
God.
16 people went to this farm, and they got there around. It doesn't really say the time. They got there somehow before. It was only 8 miles away, so they got there somewhere.
I think they got there at 1:30. You were saying
1:30. Okay.
I think that's when they got back to the house. Was 1:30.
Okay, so yeah. So the times we got are shifting. We can just say between the hours of 12 and 3. This is when this part went down, right? Because I know some of you idiots are gonna hit me up and say, no, how could they be there at 3 when they were there at 2? All right, man, between 12 and 3, right? They were down there, guys. Come on, man. Be nice. Be nice to me, man. Right? It ain't easy being this pretty. You understand? Look at that. Look at that. Right? If you're lucky, I'll leave you my conditioning routine in the comment section down there, right? Right? This is natural, right? Peroxide and everything. So yeah, bro. So Sheriff Russell Greenwell, again, I tried to call the police department and I couldn't get through to anybody on that.
I believe you. That's amazing.
I tried to call the Hopkinsville Police Department. Obviously, Sheriff Russell Greenwell's not there, and I'll tell you the reason why I couldn't get anywhere with this, right? But however, Billy Ray Beckett's news article is still online. You can still go read the original 1955 news article that he wrote, right, for that.
It was I think it was this one. Story of spaceship 12 little men probed today.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yep. So that's the original. That's the original, and good on them for putting all their stuff online, right? Mm-hmm. So they went back to this is what happened. They went back and they searched. They were looking on the roof, and Sheriff Russell Greenwell noted that an obvious gun battle took place based upon the amount of shotgun shells that were found littered out the property, right? So that was, and other than that, there was no signs of creatures' footprints or landing. Anyways, and here's a funny part here: Police Chief Cecil Doc Meacham was walking around in the dark and stepped on the tail of a cat. Did you get this part?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, right? I heard this.
And so Chief Meacham stepped on a cat's tail. It screamed in horror and jumped up. And Russell Greenwell said 15 people almost shot him because he's never seen so many pistols come out of their holsters that fast in his life, right? So Police Chief Meacham almost got taken out, stepping on a feral cat looking around the trees, right? God. So yeah.
That's too funny.
And I tell you, man, it's stuff like that, bro, that makes me... So look, I don't know. We'll get to to the alien stuff, but it's stuff like that. It's details like that, man, that stand 70 years ago, bro. Mm-hmm. It's stuff like that makes me believe, like, okay, man, they were going through. They were on edge. You know what I'm saying? Like something was going on, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, and so that's the police investigation on there, right? He says. Yeah. And this is from the official police report written by Sheriff Russell Greenwell, but also was co-signed by Police Chief Cecil Doc Meacham. Now, this is important, right? Sheriff Russell Greenwell was the sheriff of Christian County. However, Police Chief Doc Meacham was the city police chief for Hopkinsville, right? Yep. And so if you've ever lived in the rural South, you'll see county cops, city cops, and sheriffs. It's a whole different thing, right? Mm-hmm. But he co-signed it. And the three things that they stood out there is that the witnesses appeared genuinely terrified. Some of them were experiencing medical conditions where first aid was administered at the police station. Multiple adults and several children corroborated the same story. And upon investigation of the homestead, is what he called it, shots had clearly been fired based upon the large amounts of shotgun shells found at random places on the property. However, no signs of wildlife or a craft landing in the nearby field were detected as well. And no bodies were recovered and no blood. There was no blood. He said no blood was found on the scene as well. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, we won't get really into it now, but that's the one thing that there's no, as big as this story is and as well documented as the story is, there is no physical evidence of anything, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
so to the point that you ever watch that old show? Oh my gosh, man. I had this guy named Andy Griffith, and he had this deputy on there. This guy, he had this deputy.
Yeah,
I can't
Barney
remember his
Fife.
name. Yeah, man, right. He said Barney Fife. He used to keep a bullet in his pocket. So that's in my mind. That's what I feel like's going on. They're all rolling out there and they're all getting their bullets out of their pockets, right? And that cat jumps out, man. They almost smoked the police chief. They almost smoked the police chief, right? And so they actually had the investigation was over fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
However, the MPs, the 4 military police officers down there from Fort Campbell, did not contribute to any of the police reports. In fact, you won't find anything. I could not find anything stated that they were talking about, right?
Yeah.
And so to pick up where you left off, Steve, the police chief says, okay, it's pretty dark. They searched the area. They searched the area till 2 a.m. And he says, basically, they sent the family members back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you know what? And we'll come back here tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And so what I got that when the police left, they brought the family, drove back, and they got settled in the house at what Glennie Langford said between 3 and 3:30 a.m. Right?
Yeah.
Is that what you got? Right?
Yeah.
All right. Continue, sir.
Yep. So just like you said, family's back. They're going to sleep. And what I have here is at around 3:30 a.m., Glennie Langford awoke and she saw through her bedroom window another one of these creatures right outside the window.
Right.
And she hooted and hollered and got everyone in the room. And here comes Lucky again. He starts firing at these things again. Lucky came
in with a shotgun again. Like at what point do we say, Lucky, put the shotgun down, Lucky? At what point? Right? Like that, you went through 20 boxes. You went through 9 boxes, man. Yeah, she wakes up at 3:30, sees it out the window, screams, and here comes Lucky. Like, were you standing guard? Like Lucky comes in there, and bro, stop shooting the windows, right? So I guess Lucky just he hit the window, man, and of course
and that was it. And
it bounced off and did a backflip, and
it was gone. And I have that this again occurred until about 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I have is that, as you mentioned, that the police said they would come back the next day.
Yep.
So the next morning, that party returned, and what I read was that the Langford family, they were gone. They said they'd had enough. They were gone. So when the police came back, they came back to an empty house.
Yeah. So again, I don't know if Lucky had anything to do with it, but the Langford said, "I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm not, this is the worst dinner party I've ever been in my life. I knew I shouldn't have came to this place. Glennie, I told you, Lucky's a problem. Lucky's a problem, man. Lucky's a problem, man." And Billy Ray, you're not helping Billy Ray. You're not helping, encouraging him, right? So yeah. So what I heard is that the Langfords broke out, bro, and Glennie broke out, and that the Taylors literally left and went back to Pennsylvania, where they were staying from. And then the report I got on that is that this is when the other Billy Ray reporter, his name, that his story got picked up nationally. Billy Ray Beckett.
Yep, and that's what I was going to say. He published, that pretty much ends the story there from what happened.
That's the encounter,
Yeah, that's the encounter. But like you said, Billy Ray, he published his article and it picked up quickly, and not just locally. It went from local, county, statewide, and it reached as far as the New York Times was publishing about it within days. This had spread huge. This went all over the place.
Yeah,
which is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. To the point where it became a local hotspot destination where, again, the Lucky got annoyed that people were coming to his house, and I'm surprised they didn't get to meet the working end of his shotgun, right? But he said that they were coming to his house. But to their credit, they asked the police to make these people leave. And I think it was Billy Ray was like, no, if they're not going to leave, just start charging them admission. So they started charging people like, carnival fares to come into their property to look around, right?
Yeah, but like you said, what I had heard was, so obviously it became so big, and within the course of days, people, and not just a couple of people, thousands of people were appearing at the property and just literally walking around the property, even trying to go in the house. And the Langfords were like, get the hell out of our house.
Yeah, exactly. Did you not hear the story? They're shooting people. You know what I'm saying, right? You're just going to walk on. Hey, what's going on? Like, what are you doing here? Yeah. So the same thing. They were just walking into these people's houses, man.
Yeah.
The South is built different, though.
Yeah. But like you said, they started charging. They started charging people $1. Oh, I think it was $1 on the property and $10 for information, which was smart because, they why not profit off it? But what that did was, for a lot of people, that kind of discredited them and made them think that, okay, this was something that they just kind of made up to make a few bucks off of, you know?
Yeah, so it did add to the it did add to the hoax mythos that was following with this story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I found funny too about it is that despite the fact that it added to their hoax, people try to say it was a hoax, right? We'll get into we're about to dig into the meat of it here in a second. They never changed their stories, man. Some of these people are still alive, right? I didn't get a chance to track. I didn't get a chance to track down, who was still alive or whatever. But some of these kids were only 10 years old at the time, right? So like they'd be in their 80s about now, right? Or 12 years old, or a little bit older than that, right? So they would still have their faculties about it, right? So now here's where we dig into this. Right? Mm-hmm. Normally I ask you, Steve, do you believe it or not? But I'm going to save that for right now, right? Because I got some receipts, son. You understand?
I love that. Mm-hmm.
I'm not just all mullet and a pretty face, y'all. I'm not, all right? Right?
It's a big part of it, but it's not all.
It's not, right? I've been getting by half of my life on my looks, and I've had a pretty hard life. But look, here we go, right? So look, I went and dug up the receipts on these bad boys, right? Because the one thing I like to do when I look into it is when I find police reports, I try to do a larger scan of the area, right? Like I'm not familiar at all with Hopkinsville, Kentucky, or Christian County, or Kelly, Kentucky, or whatever. Never been there in my life, right? But there are some strange anomalies specifically with the Hopkinsville, Christian County area, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to run them down for you, right? The area actually according to MUFON records and other cryptid, not just UFO researchers, is known as a very serious hotspot, right? And I'm going to tell you some stuff that in the late 1950s into the 1960s, Christian counties and Hopkinsville, people were reporting glowing objects over farmland, strange lights hovering near tree lines, and unexplained aerial activity. In fact, one of the deputies reported that when he was driving to the Langford farm, that he saw what he thought was two meteors that were streaking away that he could hear.
Yep, I heard that too. Yep.
And so if you go and look at the exact date, and actually it does have the exact date, August 21st into the early mornings of August 22nd, 1955. Mm-hmm. The reason why August is called the dog days of August, right? It's not because it's hot. It's because that in the month of August, you can see the Dog Star constellation. The Dog Star constellation is you can only be seen during the months of July, August, into early September. And this was first reported by an African tribe down in Africa called the Dogon. The Dogon tribe used to worship their god from the Dog Star constellation. And however, the Dog Star constellation wasn't discovered until the early 1930s, right? And they're asking how these Africans were studying praying to the Dog Star, since 2000 BC. And they said that their deity was a sky god that lived in the water. That's a whole nother story. But that's where the term, the Dog Star, the dog days of August actually come from, right? It's a reference to the Dog Star. But if you go and look at the astronomy records for August 21st, 2025, over Hopkinsville, Kentucky, was a record-setting meteor storm. There was definitely streaks in the sky that night that is unexplained. Back then, they just thought it was shooting stars. So when Billy Ray Sutton says that he saw something streaking through the sky, he described it as I'm going to use his exact words here, it had all the colors of the rainbow, but he said in his own way that it reminded him of an egg-shaped wash tub that streaked like fire. Mm-hmm. All right, well, Billy Ray, use the language you got there, son. I'm with you. Right? I'm with you. It looked like a wash tub, egg-shaped. I'm with you. But also, Fort Campbell is near the Hopkinsville, Tennessee border, and over decades. Since the 1950s, they've reported strange aerial lights, fast-moving objects, unexplained nighttime activity. And they will never confirm nor deny these cases. However, 4 military police left the Fort Campbell base and showed up there. And that is very odd. That is very, very, very odd, right? So then you take a step back, make the circle just a little bit bigger. We'll go into the regional area. Perryville Forest of Western Kentucky, right, has a long-standing glowing lights in the woods, strange screaming sounds, shadow figures, people describing creatures watching them from the tree lines, right? You take it up, and then that's going on to this day. So the UFO wave that I was hit on that started right around the same time as this actually goes into the 1970s. And in 1970s, something strange happened. The glowing spheres started to take on sphere-like shapes, right? Silent moving, hovering lights. So from the 50s to the 70s, they were reporting seeing these things in the sky. However, the only thing that changed was their shape. Now, here's where it gets a little bit even stranger, right? They affectionately dubbed these creatures as the Kentucky Goblins, right? Or the Appalachian Goblin is what they went into, right? And later folklore in Hopkinsville actually, refer to them as cave-dwelling creatures, glowing eyes, mountain goblins, right? Small humanoids. If you go down to Upper East Tennessee, the Cherokee tell a tale. And if you go down from Upper East Tennessee down to southeastern Tennessee on the Georgia border where the Choctaw reservations used to be before the Trail of Tears, they tell the story of what they call moon-eyed people, describe them very similar to these creatures that lived in the caves, right? So, Steve, ask me about Kentucky's cave system. Just ask me like we're just having a conversation.
Hey, Joe, could you tell me a little bit about Kentucky's cave system?
Well, yes, Steve, they have a cave system up there that's one of the largest on the planet. It's called the Mammoth Cave System, right? The Mammoth Cave National Park runs from over 400 mapped miles of tunnels, starting in this area and going through. While people will tell you that, it's roughly 70 miles southwest of Hopkinsville, you don't know caves, son. That doesn't mean nothing. That's just one freaking setup,
opening.
Right?
Yeah.
One open, right? So this area is littered with 400, at least hundreds and hundreds of caves, right? To the point, actually, that the people have, with fresh eyes, looking at this case, they're actually saying that these weren't aliens. They believed that they were more Fae-like creatures, some leading towards the paranormal, interdimensional beings. Just add the whole list of things on there, goblins or whatever. But there is a strong community that believe that these are the moon-eyed people that were referenced by the Cherokee in Upper East Tennessee and the Choctaw down there near the Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina border, right? And one more strange fact for y'all guys. One more strange fact. This also happened around the same time the Virginia had a very strange encounter with a similar being. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, right? Where I did an episode on it, but I'm drawing a blank right now. I was actually studying it more today, right? And it came down, and it looked very similar to these creatures, the metal aspect of it, right? And it was casting out this mist. Wow, I can't remember that name. I can't remember that name right there off the top of my head. Chat, let me know what that name in the chat, guys. You remember that West Virginia? It was the same time this was going on, but actually people believe that it might have something to do with that as well, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Steve.
Yes, sir.
At this time of the show, coming up on 53 minutes, 23 seconds into the show. Not that I keep track, right? I'm Rain Man like that. Of course. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Steve, or 0 to 100%, man, where are you at with the 1955 Kelly-Hopkins encounter? Oh, he's thinking, y'all. He's thinking. Smoke is coming out of that one eye over there. He's thinking.
Well, you know me. You know me, and anyone who's watched any episode with me, you know that I am the skeptic. I love the stories. I never
In fact, hold on one second, Steve. I'm going to pray for you.
Yes.
Dear Lord Jesus, please send aliens down to abduct Steve so he believes and have them do sexual things to him so he remembers it. And this time, dear Lord Jesus, please let it be a woman. Okay, we're good. Amen. There you go, Steve. You're going to be a believer one of these days, son.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be a believer, right?
I just need a little bit of encouragement, right?
That's it, man. You just need a little bit of Jesus in your life here, man. God's going to get you through this, right?
I love it.
Skeptic.
So that's my typical. And while I'm still going to lean that way with this story, I will tell you, I do not believe that we are alone
That
in this
is,
universe.
that's like, I feel like we're in an AA meeting and you just took a big step forward on that, man. Finally, bro, finally.
I do believe in the existence of extraterrestrial life. So, who knows what's actually out there? Who knows if this was actually happening? But I'm more inclined to believe an alien encounter than some of the other things that we talk about. So,
Yeah,
but with that said, the biggest thing against it is the fact that there was no actual evidence other
correct.
than he said, she said, this is what happened. So that
Yep.
makes it difficult to believe. But so I'm going to leave this one at a 20%. I'm giving
Well,
it
you wanted to say 30.
20%.
You wanted to say 30. I saw you wanted to say 30, man.
We'll meet in
You
the middle.
walked that back.
I'll give it a 25%.
All
How's
right,
that sound?
25%. You're 1/4 in. You're 1/4
Only
in, right?
because like I said, I'm more inclined to believe
Yeah.
there's something, because there's I'm going to give I won't take too long, but so the big con again is the fact that there's no actual evidence.
Mhm.
But some of the pluses that are going for it is, as we said, this is deep backwoods Appalachia. These people didn't have electricity. They didn't have radios. They didn't have phones. They were very impoverished. They weren't educated. I mean, these weren't your, how do I put this? It's not like these are people who would be out there scheming, oh, how can we make some money?
Yeah,
Like
for sure. Yeah.
They seem like legitimate, just bumbly people who they encountered something. They saw something. They experienced something. And like you said, when they went to the police station, it wasn't like one of them, like they just rolled up. All the police officers there said that these people were terrified. Like
terrified.
You can't make that up. You can't act what they felt. So that does definitely, for me, makes me wonder what it was that really happened. So that's where I get that balance there, because who knows?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, man, because it meets the criteria of our show, man. That something absolutely happened. Like something happened. They experienced something on that.
Yeah.
You want to talk about if it's a cryptid, or you want to talk about if it's alien, you want to talk about it's a government, program or something like that. Something, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what happened. Also, one of the things as well is that in the area in the 1955, the vocabulary wasn't there to describe things that we have now. Right? I mean, my man said it was a bath. It looked like a bathtub was in the sky. Yeah. That's what he said. No knocking on him. Yeah. That was his point of reference, right? There wasn't a UFO or UAP or anything like that. Even the term cryptid wasn't really big in that area right there, right? So
they would have known that. Again, they had barely any communication to the outside world as it was, with no phone, no radio, no nothing.
Yeah, and so this is where I dig into it, right? We do know that there was a record-setting meteor storm that night. Mm-hmm. It's a fact. You can go look it up. It's not even that has nothing to do with it. So in their mind, this record-setting meteor storm took place at the exact same time these creatures happened upon their farm. So obviously they connected dots. That could have nothing to do with it. These creatures could have came out of the ground. They could have came anywhere. The storm could have been a thinning of the veil. It could have been some type of energy transfer. Could have been something. However, I don't buy the barn owl theory that they try to tell you that people say, oh, they were shooting at barn owls. They're the great horned owl. That's what they'll try to tell you it was. Mm-hmm. Go away. Do better with that, right? Just do better with that, right? So for me, I'm actually saying that they did encounter something, but I don't think it was an alien. I think they encountered some type of underground cryptid life. That's what I'm going with. I think it was not. I don't think it had anything to do with the meteor storm. I think that I don't want to call that a coincidence. I don't think they came out of the sky. I think they came out of the earth, and I think that's why. Because there was references in there where Glennie said that they avoided the lighter parts of the farm. She said not because they were scared of the light, it's because it seemed like the light irritated them. So to me, she described that their eyes were glowing, which gave me more of a nocturnal creature feeling, right? Mm-hmm. And also the way they moved with their hands primarily with their arms being strong around their chest and moving, also led me to believe that they were living underground in an aquatic area, right? And we know these caves have all kinds of water in there or whatever. So anyway, so I'm all in. It happened. Something happened, right? I'm 100% this went down, right?
Yeah.
Nerd.
Another thing I want to mention too, what makes me believe that it wasn't just a hoax, that they actually experienced something, was that they, if it was a hoax, they would have been trying to milk every dollar and every bit of fame out of this. But it was known that they hated the attention that they got from this, the Langford family. They hated that people showed up at their house. They hated that people were bothering them. They hate to this day, or to however long they lasted, they hated talking about the experience. They wanted to put it behind them. It wasn't something that they were trying to get money and get famous for. Like, they experienced something, they were terrified of it, and they wanted to move on past it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. They did not embrace it, right? And they just wanted to be left alone, right? To go into it. But either way, man, like, it did meet the criteria. Man, I tell you what, I'm glad God made me pretty with these gave me these golden locks here, man. Because if I could spell, I'd be dangerous, son. Right? Dangerous. Believe it or not, this guy's made a living at correcting my grammar over here on the side too.
You guys have no clue. You have no idea.
I say what I say, y'all. I don't. You can figure it out, right? I'm spelling. Who created that? That's useless, right? I was the kid that had to sit outside the class with his desk when I was going to school, man. So just know that now, man. I spent a lot of time in the hallway with my desk growing up. So anyways, fun fact, you guys, on closing here is that if you ever get the opportunity, I don't have the exact dates here, but Hopkinsville, Kentucky has an annual UFO festival celebrating this 1955 encounter.
I was going to say, yep, I was going to bring up the same thing. I have here that it happens in August. August was when it happened. So, but yeah, they have Kelly, the township of Kelly has an annual, Little Green Men Festival is what they call it.
And if you ever get to check it out, I would check it out. But also, too, one more second fun fact that Billy Ray Beckett, the author of the Kentucky New Era, who wrote the original news article for this, is widely credited as the man who coined the phrase "little green men." He's the one who came up with that, right? So that's another fun factor.
Yep, because where did I have that? I just had my notes here. It was basically what you said. That was where the term we all hear about the little green men, but that's where that originated, was in the story there, which is pretty cool.
It's good stuff on that. So Steve's at 25%. I'm all in. I don't think it was aliens. I think it was cryptids on that. But Steve, real quick before I walk us out of here, man, let me get your.
I got one more thing. I want to pull up.
My bangs are fighting me here.
It's one more thing that adds to the credibility of all this. And I haven't had a chance to read it because I just found it yesterday. But did you come across Isabel Davis's report called Close Encounters at Kelly and Others of 1955?
No.
Isabel Davis, she was a reporter for this group called the Center of UFO Studies. And well, she published this years later in 1978, but she actually started working on it in 1956, just 10 months after this happened. She heard about what happened here, and she went to Hopkinsville for a week, and she interviewed how many people? 1, 2, 6, about a dozen people, including Glennie Langford and including Russell Greenwell, who was the chief of police, including the photographer who took pictures, and a whole bunch of the people. And she wrote a 95-page report on the 95-page report on the incident, including documents from Project Blue Book. Do you know what Project Blue Book is?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Project Blue Book was in the 50s into the late 60s, maybe even early 70s. The U.S. Air Force investigated UFO reports, almost 13,000 UFO reports they investigated in that time period. And so Isabel, who wrote this report, she had reached out to them, and she got 8 documents from the Blue Book Project, including a written statement from Glennie. So I haven't looked into it, but there is 95 pages of interviews with everyone who was there. There's maps of the area of the house. There's the blueprints of the house. I mean, it's pictures of the family. Everything you could want is on this. It's insane.
That does add credibility to the case, man. The fact that like this is a very well documented encounter here on there right there. So yeah. Okay, so real quick,
I'm gonna link that in the
Discord.
In the Discord. Yeah.
Okay.
There's pictures of one of the police officers investigating the house. Like it's like actual photographs. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So Steve, real quick, man, on the way out of here, before you and I break out of here and head down to 7-Eleven, blast some Motley Crue, get some some Copenhagen, and hang out in the parking lot till 2 a.m. hooting and hollering at the women who walk by, right? Getting off getting off the shift at the Waffle House, right? Smelling like Boone's Farm and regret. Let's go. So check it out here real quick, Steve. So with the U.S. government, Tim Burchett and other people pushing hard that there's a rumor rolling around Washington, D.C. right now that my boys were telling me about that. There's the disclosure speech has already been written and it's on Trump's to-do list where he's going to address the nation and talk about, something, right? The whole disclosure thing. Where are you at with that? Where are you at in your headspace with that, man? Are you buying this thing, or are you buying this thing, or is this just another distraction to keep the emails from coming out about them actually worshiping demons and eating kids? Right?
I don't want to get political here. I think my views kind of clash with a lot of our viewers here.
Steve is a communist.
I will say that I'm split because yes. The timing of it all, I think, is clearer distraction from other things that are happening right now. But with that said, if we have this information, I want to know about it.
Yeah,
you know what I
too,
mean?
Right? Yeah.
So it's like, the timing is very funny, but I would love to actually see what has been hidden for these past 70 years,
Yeah,
or more.
I'm curious as well, right? So look, so Steve will be on the Enigma Daily next Wednesday live, 8 p.m. And we'll dig into it. We'll do on that, right? Yeah. Tonight, guys, I've kept you here a little bit late. My apologies, but you know what? We didn't get all dressed up for nothing. You understand, right? So tonight, if you stuck around this long, I give you my heart, guys. I give you a heart. We have, like I said, are about to break 700,000 views on YouTube. YouTube reached out to me recently and said, congratulations on that milestone. It's very, it's not uncommon, but it's very difficult to do in the amount of time that we were able to do it. Like, we are not a 10-year-old YouTube channel. We're only about 2.5 years old. And they congratulated me on that. And so I'm sharing that special thanks to all of our viewers out there that we are on pace to break 1 million views for our content, right? And there was a time, and I can remember I was sitting here and I was talking by myself, right? Or I was talking to nobody, right? So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for your support. If you're new to us, we may or may not look like this. You don't know. You got to go watch other videos to see if we do look like this or if we don't look like this, right? And this might become my everyday down here. You never know.
I was going to say, every episode we may as well just dress up like this.
I might just come out like this, man. I might go full redneck. They say never go full redneck. I might go full redneck, son. You know what I'm saying?
You've been on your way there for a long time, though.
I actually thought about hanging my AR on the wall back there, but I was like, nah, man, it's kind of a semi-kid show or whatever, right? So anyways, guys, if you found us for the first time, give us a subscribe. Please give us a subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up. If you have any information to add to the story, drop in the comments. We're always learning stuff. If you didn't like the show, leave me a thumbs down and let me know why, so I can tell you how stupid you are for not liking this show, right? And I will blame Steve. It's the ugly guy's fault that you didn't stick around that run, all right?
That's right.
And so you can find us on every single major streaming platform on the planet out there. We can hang out with you on the way to work. So you guys, thanks for hanging out. Steve, you got anything for us as we go?
That's all I got.
All right, guys. The chat looked good. Everybody looks good. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. And sorry about not going live on Rumble, but you know how we do around here, Steve. That's all you guys get for $1. And we're out.
Subscribe now and turn on notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.